Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am back to share with you my favorite products from the year 2024, and today's categories are going to be eyes, eyebrows, and lips. And I'm also going to add a little bonus at the end of some of my favorite brushes from this last year. So this category was a little bit slimmer, especially when I pared it down to my favorite. So we're going to do this one in a top 12 format, and that's overall. That includes all of those categories together. So this one should be a lot of fun. Before we get into it though, if you're new here, welcome. Please consider subscribing. Make sure notifications are turned on. And now let's get right to the ranking. Okay, so as I mentioned, you guys, I feel like I was a bit of a slacker in this category this year, other than lip liners. I mean, I'm always trying out lip liners. That's been going on for a couple of years now. But some of these, once I found something good, I just didn't really feel like I needed to try out a lot more because some of these were they were used by me like crazy this year. So let's just start all the way down at the bottom with my number 12 product. It is a mascara. This is the Physicians Formula Diamond Mascara. So this mascara took a little while to grow on me. I wasn't sure I liked it at the beginning because it has a very strange brush. Also, the formula is a bit wet, and I think when I first got this, it was too wet, and that does happen sometimes, especially with wetter formulas. They're much better after they've kind of sat for a month and kind of thickened up a little bit. I still stand by my first opinion on the brush of this one. It's a little bit strange. It kind of has a C shape, and then it has bristles on the top and then the bottom, and then it's just flat on the side. But it does make my lashes look really good and full and even, and this stuff wears really well. When it comes to mascaras that I really particularly love, it's all about the formula. I like something that's a little bit water resistant but can also be removed relatively easy with warm water at night. Doesn't flake or smudge, and this is a really good formula for that. It's super black as well, which I really love. It's very nice and dark and inky. Coming in at number 11, I'm gonna go with my Natasha Denona I Need a Nude Lip Liner. This one's in the shade Clio. Kind of feel like I should rank this one a little bit higher, but there are a couple that I like a little bit more, mainly because they're a little bit cheaper than this one. Natasha Denona lip liners are very expensive. However, if you have a lot of vertical lines in your lips, if you have more mature skin and that is an issue for you, this is one of the best formulas, I think, for those of you, or us, I should say, because I include myself in this category now that I'm in my mid-40s. This is one of the few formulas that is a good mix of both creamy and kind of thick and waxy. It doesn't feather into those lines. It sets down really well, and once it's set, it is locked in. It's not gonna go anywhere. Also, the shade of this one is really nice. I still think I like the I Need a Rose Calla shade a little bit better than this one. This one has almost like a gray, I mean, it's not gray, it just has a cooler kind of shadowy tone to it. It actually reminds me a ton of Iconic Nude from Charlotte Tilbury. Let's just swatch these side by side. Yeah, they're basically identical to one another. So this is Natasha Denona. This is Iconic Nude from Charlotte. If you thought these were a little bit too thick and waxy, and also these ones I feel like wear down even faster than these ones. I mean, for how thick they are, I have to sharpen this pencil all the time. I feel like for how rarely I use it or how much I kind of save this pencil for special occasions, seems like I'm sharpening it a whole lot more than the Natasha Denona ones. I don't know, that's just something I've noticed. I haven't really like proven that. I don't know that for a fact, but I do feel like this one just seems like it lasts a little bit longer as far as the product. Okay, let's move on to number 10. And in this spot, I'm gonna go with my Maybelline Lifter Plumping Lip Gloss. This gloss has chili pepper in it. It does have like a peppery sensation on your lips. I kind of love it. I have a feeling there's a lot of people that would not. I mean, every time I put this on my lips, I can feel the subtle spiciness in the back of my throat, which seems like that should be a really off-putting and odd sensation for a lip gloss. But I really enjoy this one. I like the plumping sensation. I don't know that it physically plumps my lips, but if you like that feel on your lips and you're not afraid of spicy food, maybe give this one a try. I just love the Maybelline Lifter glosses. Every one that I've tried, I think this is my 4th one that I own. I love them all. This shade is Blush Blaze, and it's a gorgeous, just basic, it's almost like a Barbie pink, but these aren't so pigmented that they're gonna make your lips look super colorful. They provide just a little bit of color, which is really where I like my glosses the most, where they're kind of in that range between not being too sheer, but also not being so opaque that they look a little bit heavy on your lips. Ranked at number 9, we're gonna venture into the brow category, and I am going to mention my Pretty Smart Brow Gel. This one I have is in the shade Deep Brown. Now, there are some brow products that you'll see coming up ranked a lot higher because I'm in this mode with my brows right now that I'm really liking, but there was a moment this year and still on occasion where I love a good tinted brow gel. This one is strongly tinted. It has a lot of color in it. Now this shade is quite dark for me, but I like my tinted brow gels. If I'm going to use a tinted brow gel, I want something that's going to really like fill in my brows and give me some color as well. My brows are really dark here, but then I have a lot of kind of baby brow hairs like on the top and the bottom that don't have a lot of pigment in them. So if I want my brows to look a little fuller, I need something a little bit darker, and this works really well for that. I wouldn't say that this holds my brows in place super well. Sometimes I will add a little bit of a clear brow gel or like a brow wax or soap on top for that, but I do love how quick this is when I'm in a rush. Ranked at number 8, I'm going with another lip liner. This one was kind of creeped up on me as a favorite this year. This is from the brand The Same. I bought this back when I did that Amazon video earlier in the year, if you happen to see that, where I basically bought all of the best sellers on Amazon. This happened to be in there, and initially I wasn't sure that I liked it because it's not officially a long wearing formula, and normally I'm very picky about that. However, there is an exception that I will make for lip liners that are not long wearing if they are very nice and stiff. This actually, the formula of this reminds me a lot of the MAC lip liners, which I do like the MAC lip liners, even though those also are not a long wearing formula. When they are a little bit stiffer and they require a little bit more work, I feel like it makes them last a little longer because they're not so creamy that they're just gonna slip and slide around or just come right off. I also like the stiffer formulas because they allow you to get really precise. Sometimes I think if a lip liner is too pigmented, even if it's a long wearing formula, it's kind of tricky to get it blended out to where it looks really natural. Whereas if you go with something like this that's a little bit stiffer, you can really slowly build up the shape and the color that helps your lips look defined naturally. It doesn't look like you're really wearing anything on them. I have actually had this in my car for the last 6 months or so, and I use it all the time. And surprisingly, considering this is in my car and I haven't had to bring it in to sharpen, I think I brought it in once to sharpen, because it is so stiff, it's lasted just about forever. I use this thing all the time in my car when I'm going somewhere and I don't have any makeup on, or I just want to go in the store and I want my lips to look nice. But it never seems to wear down very much. So let me just give a little swatch on the back of my hand. The color, it's just a basic pink. By the way, this one is in the shade Tarot. I will link it on Amazon down below. I want to go back and buy a few more. I just looked at the price of these and they are $9.99. I'm pretty sure last time I checked, they were a little bit cheaper than that. So I might wait until they're a little bit cheaper and go try a couple more shades, because they had a couple other nude shades. This one's just a nice warm nude pink. But again, the formula of this is really good if you like good definition. If you like the MAC pencils, I think you'll really love this one. Ranked at number 7, I have a brow pencil, and it is the e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil. This I actually tried out not that long ago. I've only had this for about 2 months now, and I love this pencil. It feels very cheap. The packaging feels very cheap, as if I feel like this thing might break. It hasn't broken yet, but it just feels very lightweight and cheap. But the actual pencil itself is very nice and stiff. It actually reminds me a lot of the Benefit Precisely My Brow, which is my favorite brow pencil formula. I love a brow pencil formula that's not too soft or waxy and that's almost a little bit sharp, where if you use it and it kind of has an angle on it, you can get really nice and precise when your pencil is stiff enough. And that's what this one does, also my Benefit one. The one I have is in the shade, oh dear, that's right. This is so crazy to me. So e.l.f., so this pencil, look at the size of the top. The shade is written on the top of that lid. How is anyone to read that? Neutral brown. Oh, that's right. Neutral brown is the shade that I use. It's the perfect shade. It's nice and like ashy. It's kind of a good medium tone. It's not too dark or too light. I love this thing. I have not stopped using it since I first tried it out, I think in the month of October. It's fantastic. Ranked at number 6, I have another lip liner. This one is from the Drugstore. It's from Maybelline. This is the Maybelline Lifter lip liner. I have 2 shades. I really couldn't decide between these 2 shades. One's a little bit darker than the other, but they're both really good nude shades. So this one right here, let's swatch this one first. This is the shade Big Lift. So there it is right there. This one's a little bit darker. It's a good darker tone if you like either a darker nude lip or you like to overline just a tiny bit with a darker shade. This is really good for doing that. If you like your lip liner to also fill in, you don't want your lips too dark, this shade is a fantastic nude shade. This is Line Leader. A little bit lighter, a little bit more pink rather than kind of like mauve-y, or I don't know that I would call that berry toned. It doesn't have as much cool or gray in it. I wouldn't call it gray, but you know what I mean, like a shadowy kind of lip liner. This one's more of a basic nude pink. Love this one for filling in the lips. These last so well on the lips. They're a really nice formula. They are a little bit creamy, but they set down relatively quickly so they don't feather too much if you do have issues with feathering in your fine lines. You do have to sharpen them quite a bit. I have already sharpened these a few times and it looks like both of them need to be sharpened again, but the formula of these for the drugstore and the shades, these are perfect nude shades, which the drugstore sometimes has a hard time getting right. So I was very impressed with these from Maybelline. Ranked at number 5 is a fun little discovery that I found when I did my Yes Style order back in the, I think, early summer. This is from the brand Mersey. It is the Slim Gel Eyeliner Pencil. Now, you guys know my addiction to my Wet n Wild Simma Brown Now pencil, but this pencil, I use this particularly when I'm wearing lashes and I want something a little bit more defined to kind of conceal my lash band. So I'm wearing my 3/4 lashes today, which are really the only lashes I ever wear. If I'm wearing lashes, these are the ones that I wear. Now I went out searching last year for a potted gel liner to replace my one from Natasha Denona, and I found that they're getting harder to find. I don't know if potted gel liners are out. Maybe they're just a little bit too high maintenance for people, or maybe makeup styles are like moving in a different direction. But I can't use a liquid liner because I have so much texture and kind of lines on my eyelids that I can't get a line that's nice and sharp and straight. I need a gel liner that has a little bit more give in it, a little bit more flexibility. So I picked this one up on a whim, and it is just like a potted gel liner but in pencil format. It is nice and tiny. It allows you to get a nice sharp line. Really good precision with this. I basically use it from the center of my eye and then pull it out to kind of a baby wing, and it conceals my lash band really well. It's a really good dark color. This particular shade is Bronze Opal. It's basically a charcoaly dark brown. I mean, I would say this one's even darker than my Simma Brown Now. Really inky and dark, which is how I like my gel liner to be. It's just so incredibly slim. I don't know if you guys can see just how slim you can get with this pencil. It basically looks like a brow pencil, but it's super dark and pigmented and gel-like for an eyeliner. It's so great. I absolutely love this thing. Also, it's very budge proof, so if you need something very water resistant, this thing is amazing, and it's very cheap. I think you can get this for like $5. Okay, we're down to my top 4, although 2 of these I'm gonna kind of combine together. But first off, my number 4 product, I'm gonna go with the e.l.f. Pout Clout Lip Plumping pens. Now I'm combining these as one category. I have 4 shades. I tried to find my 4th shade, which I think was like toasted, and I couldn't find it, but I have 4. I love them all. They actually aren't so pigmented that and that particular, I mean, they're all a little different, especially this one right here. This one is Plum On Over. This one's much more colorful and kind of berry toned, very pretty. These are so nice. I love the formula of these. They give a good amount of color. They kind of remind me of a gloss in a stick formula. They have a subtle, pleasant, minty plumping effect that's not overly strong. I love the click effect of these. Now I know there are other brands that do these that I have overlooked for years, like the Tarte Maracuja ones that have been out forever. I just never thought I would like something like that, but I might have to check those out now that I've discovered these, although why would I? These are only like $5 and I'm perfectly happy with them. So I'm wearing one of these on my lips today. This is the shade Pinky Out, which I really love. I also have the shade Bust a Mauve. Let me just swatch all of these on the back of my hand. So there's, this is the Plum On Over, Bust a Mauve, and then Pinky Out right there. They look very different, but these are a little bit more on the sheer side, so they're not overly colorful on the lips. I feel like they all look amazing. I would love to collect them all. I just picked up what was in stock at my local drugstore, but I might have to go online and get a few more shades because I have been so impressed with these. They come with me everywhere. It's why I've already lost one, because at some point they're being transferred from a jacket pocket to a purse to a smaller bag. I just can't get enough of these. I think they are incredible. Okay, next up we're gonna combine the 2-3 ranking together because these products are basically the same. They're from different brands, but they serve the same purpose. They behave exactly the same, and I'm obsessed with them both. So ranked at number 2 and number 3, we're gonna go with the brow soap. These are both brow soaps. This one is from Amazon. This one is from e.l.f. They're basically exactly the same, just in different packaging. I have really come to love brow soaps over this past year, which you've watched any of my like get ready with me kind of videos. I'm always using these things. I wear them basically every day. Now, as I often mention, if I'm talking about these, there is a learning curve to them. You have to make sure that the spoolie, you're using a good spoolie, your spoolie is relatively clean, that it's not overly dry or overly wet before you dip into the soap. But these just work so well for my brows. I have really thin but like long brow hairs that just like to stay down. They like to hang down and low, and I'd like to try and get them to go upright and to be feathery, but a normal brow gel just will not do that for me, because by the time I use a clear brow gel that's a little bit wetter, by the time it dries, my brows have already kind of fallen back down unless I use a blow dryer or something, which is just too high maintenance for me. So a soap has just a little bit more dryness to it that allows my brows to stay upright while they're drying, and they stay in place all day long. I absolutely love a good brow soap. I know they're not for everyone. I know some people really don't like brow soaps, but for my particular brows, these have been a heaven sent, and I have been using them constantly for the last at least 8 months. All right, and that brings us to my #1 product of the year. For that, I have to go with the Panorama Mascara from L'Oreal. This mascara is so good. It is everything that I love in a mascara, which is a lot of things. That includes something nice and thick, something that's gonna give me good length, good volume. It's gonna hold a curl. It's also going to be water resistant, especially when my eyes are very watery, but I also want it to remove easily at night, and that's a very hard, difficult thing for most mascaras to do. This one is exactly that. It is absolutely budge proof. The only thing I'll say about this, it is hard to remove unless your water is very, very warm. Borderline hot. The warmer your water is, the more easily this will remove. So if you tried this after me telling you could just wash it off with soap and water, and you found it didn't come off at all, it's probably because your water is too cold. If my water is too cold and I try to get this off, it's not gonna do anything. You really need your water to be warm before this will just wash off with soap. You can also use a melt, but I just usually just like to do it all in one swoop because I'm kind of lazy like that. If I'm washing my face, I feel like we're making progress. I'm kidding. I'm not that bad. It's not that often that I don't wash my face at night. This is just incredible. I've already bought a backup of this because I am officially scraping out the very last little bits of this one right here. And I don't feel like I use mascaras up all that often because I'm constantly trying new ones out. So for me to go back to one again and again must mean I really love it. And this is definitely the best mascara I've tried in a long while. All right, that is it for the makeup products. I do want to go through a couple of brushes that I really loved this past year. Let's start with this one right here. This one is from e.l.f. Now, this is a repeat try. I am pretty sure I owned this like 5 or 6 years ago, and then it was decluttered for some reason. This is their ultimate blending brush. I also have their foundation brush. I actually like this buffing foundation brush as my cream bronzer or cream blush brush. This is great for that because it's a little bit more pointed and rounded at the top. I love the ultimate blending for foundation though. I love a good, thick, stiff, dense brush like this for foundation. This works so well to put my foundations on. I love it just as much as my Persona, just as much as my IT Cosmetics. I have one also from, what's the other one I use? I think Luxie. I think I have a Luxie brush that I also really love. And I've just been on a foundation brush train lately. I just like the coverage that I get out of a brush. I'll typically use a brush and then I'll go in after with a damp sponge and kind of blend out some particular areas. And it's been working great for me this year, and this is a good option if you're on a budget. I also wanted to point out this little brush from Persona. So I've talked a lot about this brush from Persona, the eye brush. This is the Blend and Apply eye brush, which I also love. I still love this one. I think I talked about it last year. This one came in that same set, but it took me a while to kind of decide how I like to use this brush. So this is the Line and Detail brush. I love both of these sides. This is great if you're wanting to add a little bit of like liner right on top of like your gel liner. You could use it in your brows as well. But I love this one right here. And I use it kind of for the same thing. If I really want to do kind of sultry, elongated eye, but nothing too crazy, I love to put on my brown eyeliner, especially this one right here. This is just my Wet n Wild. I'll add just a little baby wing, and then I'll get a dark brown or black shade on top of this brush right here, which I don't know if you can see how thin this is. Looks like a C-shaped kind of eyeshadow brush, but it's super, super thin. So it's like a mix between an eyeshadow and a liner brush, but it's rounded. And then I'll just kind of smudge it on top, and it just really diffuses that line and darkens it up at the same time and makes it look almost like there's no beginning or end to that line. It's just very natural. It's not natural. I mean, it's obvious that I'm wearing makeup, but it just looks very blended. It's so nice. I love that effect. Then I have two brush sets that I want to mention again. These are the Angie Hot and Flashy brushes by BK Beauty. They are fantastic. They're very expensive, but they are so good. The quality is amazing. They wash up so well. I've only had them since midsummer, so I haven't had these forever, but I have not used hardly any of my other brushes since these. They've just kind of taken over. That said, I was also sent this set by Alter Ego, which is clearly supposed to be a dupe for this set right here. So they're not exactly the same. I definitely feel that these aren't quite as dense. They aren't quite as soft, although they are still very nice and soft. They feel just a little bit more flexible than these ones do, but they're awfully close. They perform pretty much the same. So I've gone a few times where I've used these for a week or two and then swapped them out for these ones for a week or two, and done that a few times just to see if I can feel or tell the difference. I can feel a difference, but I don't know that I can tell a difference in how they perform. And the price difference between these is pretty significant. These, I think, without any sort of sale, are $130. These ones are $24 for the set. So pretty big price difference. We'll see quality-wise how they compare over time, but so far I haven't had any issues with them, and I've been very impressed with both. And just this set in general, you get a good basic face brush, which you could use for pretty much anything you would need. I mostly use this with bronzer, but you could certainly use it for powder. You could definitely use it for blush. You could even use it for highlighter if you just kind of use the side. And then you get the most perfect eye brush set I think I have ever tried. I mean, this set is so good for the eyes. By the way, this is a concealer brush, and it's probably my favorite of the entire set. I love this concealer brush, it's amazing. And then these 5 eyeshadow brushes are just fantastic. They do everything that you would ever need an eye brush set to do. They blend anything like a dream. I absolutely love them. And with that, you guys, those are all of my favorites in the eyes, brows, and lips, and I guess brushes category from this last year. What did you guys think? Was there anything that you were surprised I did not include? This category was a little tough. I feel like there were a few that were on the cusp, but I just couldn't quite give them the nod. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Hopefully you found it helpful. Merry Christmas. I know I should have one more video coming up before Christmas comes next week, but just in case, because I'm always late, Merry Christmas. I hope that you guys have a fantastic Christmas with your families and loved ones. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned. I will be back with my year-end eyeshadow video, and I think that one's gonna surprise you guys as well. So let that be a reminder to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Gosh, I feel like I'm losing my voice. I don't know what's going on. Probably because I haven't filmed for a while. Been a little lazy, or busy, I should say. Though I know everyone's busy. It's Christmas time. I'm not the only one that's busy. Other people seem to be able to manage juggling the YouTube channel and their busy lives. I have a harder time for some reason. You know the original Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? Nobody is streaming it. I mean, we have a lot of streaming services. I'm kind of embarrassed to say how many we have. You pay $5 to $10 a month for every streaming service. You have 5 of them, and you think at some point you'd just be able to watch whatever you want to watch. Honestly, I say that out loud, and I realize how spoiled we are, and that sounds and ungrateful. So I'm just gonna, let's pretend I didn't say that. I sometimes wish we could go back to the days of Hollywood Video. Does anybody remember Hollywood Video or Blockbuster?